Ciao, what's up everybody? In this video today we're going to talk about banking. There may be some changes in the market for people living here on a tourist visa. I'm going to briefly explain the banking history that's happened in Vietnam since I've lived here anyways. It has had a change since my first arrival till now. So pretty interesting what I received. I got it from a credible source. But if you do have a tourist visa for the 90-day, they're essentially offering the same banking system they had pre-COVID for like about a 1-year period where they changed over how powerful the 1-year visa was. And then going into COVID, they certainly changed it. So like some banks changed immediately, others took their time. I know this because on my tourist visa, I had a TechCom bank account, and they eventually took away my debit card, and they would only let me do a money transfer or pull out money in person. So I could only pull out money in person, like going into the physical bank. I could do no digital banking with like a card, an ATM card. I'd have to go in person, sign paperwork, and pull out money that I would wire in from another account. So essentially that's what they're doing now. Again, it's pretty much what the same thing is. I mean, you get different information from each bank that does it, but the main one that Paul said is TIMO. Now, I know somebody else that had this kind of style of system. You can get a regular bank account too. You don't need to do all this shit. And then you should be able to transfer within the bank. I don't know, you'll have to look. I would go to more banks, so I wouldn't just rely on the one. I'm not gonna go do the homework and go to the banks for you guys. I'm just gonna tell you how it works. But just start going into like every bank and shit. It's like gonna be the best way. So now a 90-day visa will give you a limited but functional digital account. I applied today. My account will work as soon as I put money in. So you either have a Viet friend to put cash in, or you arrange an overseas travel. So yeah, you need a Viet friend to put cash in, oddly, but you can pull it out manually yourself. I don't know why it's like that, but it is. You do not get a card, but you can pay by connecting Momo, TIMO. So I mean, with that power, then you can do a lot more stuff. It's telling you, it's one of the biggest hurdles here. I'm gonna switch to FPV. It's literally one of the biggest hurdles here, easily, is the banking situation when you're living here long term. It gets pretty frustrating to go and try to figure out that money situation. Like what becomes frustrating is you can pull out money out of your ATM, but like if you don't have a great account, like I've even got people that like have a what's the great one? I'm forgetting the name right now, but the great one that, you know, Charles Schwab, where they give you back your like ATM fees, and they've been here for a couple years now, and they're having to call Charles Schwab pretty much like every month and have them remove charges like manually for each one. And they're like, now it's to the point where I have to call all the time. It's pretty annoying. They're taking the charges off, but it wasn't working like as planned. So I don't know how other banks do that. I don't know how truly free when they say that stuff's like unlimited and stuff like that, but you know, it is what it is on that front. So you really do need to actually have access to banking. Now it is a pain to go into the bank and have to sign to pull out the money manually, but just having the ability to wire transfer itself to an account here that's in your name where you don't need somebody to do any of that stuff for you is a huge, huge, huge W. Like, and still here, it was where you could digitally pay people. I think we're full on the card. Something like that. Let's restart here. So it's really big here to actually pay people via digital. So like by paying them by an app. So like, for example, I had something delivered the other day and there was a delivery charge of like 28K. I didn't have any money on me. So I just opened up my Vietnamese checking account and I just sent the guy. They have really fast, like they call it like NAPIS, fast transfer. There's all these different names for the different ones. They have like a really fast way to transfer. So if you have access to that with this setup, you're gonna have a very, very good time. You know, that's gonna allow you to do a lot of things that you couldn't once do before, you know. It's pretty important to have proper banking here, especially if you're gonna do any kind of big money stuff. Like, you know, if you're gonna rent an apartment that's any kind of decent, you might need access to, you know, 50 million, 100 million, 150 million. Depends on how crazy you go. But what if you want to buy a motorcycle? Like, so it's good to have a way to do all this stuff. And it's good that other places are opening up. Places I would check out is I'd go to TIMO Bank. I would try to ask at whatever branch you go into if they have one that they specialize in with international accounts or international customers. Like, I've found that if you go to a branch where they specialize in that, which they do have that, like both my banks do. So I go to those banks and I'm taken care of pretty good every time. So these are things to look out for. I would just start going to banks and hunting down. And you might even be able to get away with some banks having their own policy where they'll issue you a debit card of some sort. I wouldn't be surprised if that comes back. It doesn't make a lot of sense for them not to just take in foreigners' money. So I think they'd be missing a pretty big opportunity by not doing that, if you guys know what I'm saying. So I think it's a huge, huge W for the expats that are living here on a 90-day visa. You know, we've talked about this a million times. Vietnam definitely should just come out with a retirement visa for the guys over 50 and a digital nomad visa for guys as well, instead of playing these dudes living here on the 90-day tourist visa. They're just missing out on more money themselves. They could charge a pretty hefty amount per year probably for just a digital nomad visa that people would pay. I would say you could charge easily $1,000 a year and people would pay that visa price. So that's collecting way more money directly to the government than what you possibly could with this 90-day thing that they have going right now. So hopefully one day they'll change. I think they recognize that there's a shit ton of digital nomads moving here and living here, especially now that the 90-day visa situation is infinitely currently renewable. So I mean, people have loopholed it, it's done. I think they're just now missing opportunities of money. So hopefully they'll look at it and come back with a proper visa and then offer proper banking. But in my opinion, this is a huge, huge step forward. Again, I'll put the description of the bank in the video. We do live stream over at kick.com/zbats. We're doing some rebranding. We're currently in the middle of it. There will be a rebrand all over on all platforms. So the first change is on my live streaming handle. I am now zbats. That is my last name, Bats. So it's just ZBATZ. So zbats. So come follow me on Kick if you want to see me live stream. If you want to support me in additional ways and have access to me, the tours have pretty much ended on Patreon. I could do a nightlife tour if you paid some kind of exuberant price, but kind of want to get away from being out late and doing all that stuff. So, but if you do need help like finding an apartment and stuff like that, I can do a tour like that for sure, or like a food tour, something where we're not focusing heavily on drinking and where I'm out all night. So that's patreon.com/fat and broke. There's also all the Japan content over there, so if you want to watch that, check it out. As ever, thank you so much for watching. I'll put the bank info in there. Thank you, Paul, for the knowledge on this video. Make sure you check on your own right. Could be wrong on all this information, so I'm just a YouTuber. Do your own homework as well. Thank you for watching. Stay frosty. We'll see you on the next one.